take you to ABC Local Radio in Brisbane now, where Clive Palmer is talking about his federal political prospects.
Spend every week, so
oh, really?
It's got to last the whole week.
Your wife controls the purse strings at home?
Well, I'm the boss of the family. I've got her permission to say so.
Boom, boom. Tell me about your wife briefly. I know nothing about her.
Well, she was married to one of my best friends, Andrew DePauloff, who passed away the same week my first wife passed away back in 2006, and we started meeting each other, and then a couple of years later we got married, and we've had a little daughter, Mary 4, and she's had her own career. She's got a master's from University of Queensland in accounting and taxation. She was working with PwC, then had a career with Rio Tinto. Well, I was fortunate enough to convince her that Rio Tinto wasn't the best for her to come and join our team, and she did, and I'm a very happy guy.
And she has a senior role in your company now?
No, just in my life, Steve. So she's given up working and is a full-time mum.
Okay. Well, I'm interested to know who you really are, Clive. Whenever I've asked anyone about you, both people who do know you and people who don't know you, they only see what they see through the media, I get an incredibly broad range of answers. So a couple of things, just some basics up front. What businesses, what companies do you control or run now? Can you list them for me, please?
Well, we can. There's Queensland Nickel, of course, which has got the nickel refinery in Townsville. We employ 1,000 people up there. It also owns, through its subsidiaries, the ex-Hyatt Regency, which is now the Coolum Spa and Resort at Coolum. It owns the golf club, 2 golf clubs on the Gold Coast, Robina Woods and the Chancellor Golf Club. So we've got that one. We've got another company, Gladstone Pacific Nickel, which is in the nickel business as well. It's got 400 million tonnes of nickel just outside of Gladstone. We're looking at putting a $2 billion project up there. It's got full environmental approval to do that. Waratah Coal is another one of our companies, which owns 15,000 square kilometres of the Gailey Basin. It's got JORC reserves of over $8 billion tonnes, of thermal coal. And, of course, mineralogy, which is got the world's largest iron ore deposit in Western Australia, 160 billion tonnes of iron ore. Palmer Petroleum in Papua New Guinea, which is in the process of exploring for oil and gas in that country. It looks like we've got a discovery up there as big as the North West Shelf that's going ahead. And a number of other companies in property and also in mining. Would probably make everyone bored to go on with them.
Is it true that you, with your company China First, have 2 sets of letterhead? One that says China First when you send it to China, and one that says Australia First when you post it to someone in Australia?
Now, they both say China First, but at the bottom of the letterhead it says Unlocking Australian Excellence. When we send it to use in Australia, and the one in China says Supplying Resources to the Chinese people.
Right, okay. So it's sort of like a little marketing trick or a little marketing idea.
That's right, yeah, it's hitting the market that you aim for, yeah.
All right. Why do you want to launch another Titanic?
Well, I don't want to die wondering, I've always wondered, can we build another Titanic? And when you look at the people who've tried to do it, they haven't had the money or they haven't had a shipyard involved, and we're building 4 ships now in China, Steve, for our nickel business. We're re-establishing a maritime business for Australia, and with the shipyard up there, they're more than happy to work with us. The Chinese shipyards control about 70% of the world's construction market for container ships and bulk carriers, but only 2% of the cruise market, and they're very, very keen to do it. They've got the best propulsion, best technology, so we're going to do it. We're going to build the Titanic together, put it on the London to New York run, and as a memory to all the people that worked on it.
So they're building 4 nickel carriers for you.
That's right.
So in terms of the economies of scale, you can build a passenger liner. The Chinese have the technology with engine wires and propeller wires to make it fuel efficient. Yeah. And you're going to run it New York to where? To London. To
London, basically on a return trip. But of course, the shipyard we're dealing with, it won't have all the skills necessary to ensure all the luxuries there, and they're bringing people from all over the country to make sure this becomes a national project and something that can really highlight what they can do in the world cruise market.
Will you be requiring them to employ any specific Australian engineering skill? There used to be a shipbuilding industry here,
sure,
and we have a lot of qualified engineers here who could be involved.
Well, I don't think we'll mandate that they employ anyone from anyone. We don't want to discriminate against people because of their nationality or their skill or mandate that. We want the best people throughout the globe to come and work on this project, and there are a number of Australians that are already working on the project. One of the things we're doing, of course, is where the old boilers were and the coal storage areas, which will be a diesel-propelled, much smaller power plant, but much more efficient, we'll be having an area set aside for Queensland, where I come from. And we'll be highlighting the sort of things that our state's got to offer.
What do you mean? What, a stateroom?
Like a stateroom set up for this
decorated in Queensland paraphernalia or something?
No, saying what the development opportunities are here, what our people are like, what investment opportunities are. And in that, where the old coal used to be stored, we'll be highlighting this state, hoping we can attract more tourists, more people to come and have a look at the Great Barrier Reef, one of the few things that you can see from the moon.
So a floating tourist commission almost?
Really.
Okay.
To support the state that we all love.
Are you allowed to use the name Titanic?
We own the name Titanic 2. It's been copyrighted, trademarked by us, and all these names that we own. You'll find in the movie for Titanic, they only ticked the box which says to use the names for movies, not for shipping.
So you can lawfully call it the Titanic 2.
We can, yeah.
And you now own the rights to that name.
That's correct, yeah.
Does James Cameron know that?
I don't know. He might wake up and find out.
My guest is Clive Palmer. Clive Palmer, how do you describe yourself? We always call you, you're called a billionaire, one of Australia's wealthiest people, mining magnate. What is an appropriate term?
Well, I think, like everyone else, I'm just a person doing the best I can in my life. I'm pretty, just the same as yourself or anyone else, and I've been lucky in a number of areas.
You're not really in the miners' club, are you? You're not one of the core miners. If you ask a miner privately about Clive Palmer, and they often occasionally say, well,
Clive
he's really
Palmer speaking to Steve Austin on Brisbane Local Radio. We'll leave that there for the moment.